Hello all. So today we are continuing our discussion in Chapter 2 about the philosophy of sport and physical activity. So this is part 2 of, again, a continuation of Chapter 2. So in talking about philosophy, physical education, exercise science, and sport leaders' primary goal is the improvement of the well-being and quality of life of individuals who participate in our programs. We can accomplish this by socializing individuals into the role of participants who will make a long-term commitment to participation in enjoyable and meaningful physical activity and sport experiences. Our main purpose is to provide people with the skills, knowledge, and attitudes to participate in regular physical activity throughout their lifespan. Sport philosophy emerged as a specialized area of study in the mid-1960s and 70s. The definition, scope, and areas of study are discussed in this section. So sports philosophy is a systematic and reflective study of the truth, meanings, and actions of sport. Sport philosophers use logic and reasoning to gain a broader understanding of how sport contributes to our lives and to analyze the principles that guide our professional practices and actions. Sport philosophers study the values connected with sport, examine the relationship between the mind and body, and debate ethical dilemmas. They call upon us as professionals to critically reflect upon our beliefs and assumptions about sport and challenge us to use our insight and knowledge for the well-being of others. As sport philosophy became more organized and sophisticated, philosophers undertook the investigation of a wider array of topics. Their work may now focus on the value of different types of physical activity or the relationship of the mind and body. They also encourage the use of logic and analytical skills to address ethical issues and make use of insight and knowledge to promote positive change. Some of the questions sport philosophers may ask include: what is the meaning of competition for athletes with disabilities? What are the ethical implications of genetic engineering and its potential use in elite sports? And what role does sportspersonship play in influencing the values derived from competition? As well as how does culture influence the meaning derived from participating in sport? So in developing your professional philosophy, which will be due this coming Sunday, a professional philosophy is important for all physical educators, exercise scientists, and sport leaders. A professional philosophy will help you articulate the worth and value of the discipline and will influence the design and leadership of your programs. Your philosophy will be reflected in your actions as a professional, the manner in which you handle the responsibility of being a role model, and your behaviors toward and interactions with the people you serve. It is important to understand that your professional philosophy may emphasize the philosophies discussed in this chapter, as well as the many others that this chapter didn't address. However, your professional philosophy will primarily emphasize your beliefs and values within your chosen profession, which may align or be supported by a professional organization's vision or mission statement. Your professional philosophy can serve as a guide in making ethical decisions as you confront many issues and problems within the field. When confronted with ethical decisions, you can use your professional philosophy to reflect on how you ought to act, what is right and wrong in the given situation, and what is just and unjust. Many professional organizations such as the National Athletic Trainers Association also have a code of conduct or ethics that, in conjunction with your professional philosophy, will be of assistance in guiding your professional endeavors. A professional philosophy can help solidify your commitment to your profession and offer you a direction for your efforts. As you develop and reflect on your professional philosophy and become more aware of the depth and breadth of the field, you will be imbued with a greater sense of the value of the field and stronger sense of the worth of your endeavors. This is just a philosophy that I created, and I wouldn't say that this is complete all of mine. I have more that I value that can be plugged into this, but the idea of someone in sport management or as exercise scientists create an environment and events that improve the health of my community or the individual, if you will. Another is to encourage and create opportunities for students to work collaboratively in the community in the field of their choice. So in developing your professional philosophy, it is something that it gives you some guidance in resolving these and a multitude of other questions and issues you face. With this, one of your major tasks as you continue your professional preparation is developing your professional philosophy. And that's not to say that it won't change, because it will. Over a period of time, it changes. One of the most commonly asked questions of job candidates of employers is, what is your professional philosophy? Your professional philosophy will likely change as you learn more about the field and acquire more professional experience and mature as an individual. As you begin to develop your professional philosophy, it may be helpful to think about your philosophy and use those beliefs and values as a starting point. And so with that, critically review your past experiences in physical education. What were some of your most outstanding experiences in the field? What were maybe some of the most disheartening ones, and why? Is there a professional you particularly admire, one who served as a role model for you and even prompted your entry into the field? And if so, what was his or her philosophy? I recommend that you read about the different philosophies and which ones are compatible with your beliefs. I've actually asked you to relate at least one to one of your philosophies. So what theories are at odds with them? How do these theories translate into practice? One of the things in being the internship coordinator, I believe in pragmatism and putting an individual into a certain situation, and they have to problem solve and think critically. They have to work with people. And so I'm very much a pragmatist, but I also have idealistic values as well that come from my faith. And so with that, negotiating those realms, I believe that as an exercise science and sport management person, I have to model what I expect everybody else to do, or what my students are doing, what my clients are doing. So, and I'm also, I could be humanistic as well as others that include more of the individualized expression as well. And a naturalist. I enjoy being out in nature. So I'm kind of eclectic. I appreciate all of them. You should review the philosophies of the leaders in physical education, exercise science, and sport. And after reviewing them, which of their beliefs are compatible with yours and which are incompatible. And developing a professional philosophy, it's a dynamic process. Your professional philosophy will change as you age and mature and gain experience in the field. So one of the primary purposes is to reflect on your experiences and beliefs and to provide context with which you view your profession. It will possibly impact the goals and objectives you develop with your physical education and exercise science and sport program. And collectively, these professional philosophies and program goals and objectives formulate the foundation of your instruction and practice. So in this, again, you're still developing your professional philosophy. You want to take advantage of opportunities you have during your professional preparation to talk to various professors about their philosophies. What are their beliefs that are evident in their teaching as you critically examine your experiences during your professional preparation and why those things are the way they are? How could things change? How would these things change, influence the philosophy of the program? And would these changes align with your professors' beliefs and philosophies? And I wouldn't just limit it to your professors, but I would look for people who are in the field that you want to be in, such as with your career investigation. Find out what their philosophies and their beliefs are. And review the codes of conduct and ethical standards of various professional organizations. So NADA is one of those, but there's also the National Strength and Conditioning Association, the American College of Sports Medicine, NASM. Many physical education, exercise science, and sport professional organizations have standards of conduct that serve as guidelines for their members. What are those standards of conduct expected of professionals entering your prospective field? And what are the expectations for service to the profession and to others? In expressing your philosophy, what are your current perspectives and beliefs about your prospective field? You may not have written a professional philosophy before, but over time you will see that it will change, it will evolve as you mature, as you age, in the different seasons of your life. What are the factors that influence these changes can be a lot of different things. So before we discuss the goals and objectives of physical education, exercise science, and sport, we're going to do definitions about them. So goals are statements of purposes and intents and aims that reflect desired accomplishments. They're also expressed as general statements and are very broad in their direction. You state long-term outcomes to be achieved by participants in your program. Could be one of the goals of your program. A goal of contemporary physical education, exercise science, and sport is helping people acquire the necessary knowledge, skills, and appreciation to participate in physical activity throughout their lifespan. So it's very broad in nature. Whereas objectives are a little bit more specific. They are derived from your goals, but they specifically are about what individuals should know, do, or feel as a result of the instruction. They're more specific than goals. They're short-term statements of specific outcomes that build cumulatively to reach a goal. Objectives can be stated in many different ways and their degree of specificity. They can be stated with reference to general behavior or with reference to specific outcomes. For example, one goal of Healthy People 2020 is to increase life expectancy and for individuals to be free of preventable disease, disability, injury, and premature death. A general objective that would contribute to this goal is increasing the number of people who engage in exercise to achieve cardiorespiratory fitness. A more specific objective related to physical activity is increasing from 15 to 30% the proportion of adults who engage regularly, preferably daily, in moderate physical activity for at least 30 minutes a day. Objectives may be developed for different areas of learning, that is, intellectual development, physical development, or social emotional development. Objectives guide the development of assessment procedures and instructional experiences. They help professionals focus their efforts on the subject content that is more important for participants to learn. Quality programs have a clearly defined mission and well-articulated goals. Objectives relate to the goals and are relevant to society's and participants' needs, experiences, and interests. Instruction is designed to help participants achieve the desired outcomes and ultimately attain stated goals. Ongoing assessment yields meaningful information about participants' progress toward achievement of the goals and has the potential to inform further instruction. Physical education, exercise science, and sport leaders' primary goal is the improvement of the well-being and quality of individuals who participate in our programs. We can accomplish this by socializing individuals into the role of participants who will make a long-term commitment to participate in enjoyable and meaningful physical activity and sport experiences. Our main purpose is to provide people with the skills, knowledge, and attitudes to participate in regular physical activity throughout their lifespan. Since virtually all children attend schools, effective school programs can have a significant impact on the nation's health and are perhaps our greatest chance to change society for the better. But teaching skills and developing fitness are not enough. Students need to learn to value and enjoy physical activity. Additionally, students need both the knowledge and the self-management skills that lead to lifetime adherence. Students need to know how to self-assess their fitness level and modify their activity accordingly. They need to know how to set goals and plan programs so they can adapt their activities to their changing needs as they move into adulthood. If we can agree that this is our common goal and we focus on the delivery of quality programs to people of all ages, physical education can be a significant force in our society. Unfortunately, many graduating high schoolers are not learning this content, which is why it is important for all professionals to educate and inform their players, students, and clients about how to develop, plan for, and meet their goals. Objectives for learning can be classified into 3 domains or areas of behavior. The cognitive, which is thinking. Affective is how we feel about it. And psychomotor is, of course, the doing part of it. The cognitive domain is concerned with the acquisition of knowledge and its application. So it could be about the knowledge of the rules of the game. The affective domain includes the promotion of values, of fostering social skills, and enhancement of emotional development. And the psychomotor domain involves the development of motor skills and motor fitness. It is critical that professionals consider all three domains when planning learning experiences to meet individuals' needs. Separation of behaviors into domains simplifies the formulation of objectives. It enables us to more readily take into account individuals' levels of development in each domain as we design and conduct activities. However, these domains are interrelated, and as professionals, we must keep this at the forefront of our minds as we work with people in our programs. Physical education, exercise science, and sport can contribute to learning in each of the three domains. The extent to which these disciplines contribute depends heavily on the degree to which this development is emphasized within the specific program. Physical education's unique contribution to the education curriculum is in the psychomotor domain. Development in this domain encompasses the objectives of motor skill development and physical fitness. While the psychomotor domain is our primary focus, there are many ways we can accomplish our goals in this area while enhancing development in the other two domains. Education is a process of learning that can take place in many different settings and programs conducted outside the school setting. Physical education, exercise science, and sport contribute to the cognitive, affective, and psychomotor development of program participants. These programs involve people of all ages in a diversity of settings and with many different goals. As we continue to expand our programs, we must actively seek to extend the opportunity for participation to all people, regardless of gender, race, ethnic, and cultural background, and socioeconomic status. Taxonomies serve as a guide for professionals in planning for learning outcomes and achievement of the desired goals. A taxonomy organizes objectives in a progressive hierarchy from low to high, using developmental theories as a basis for formulating those objectives. Behaviors at one level serve as the foundation and prerequisite for behaviors at a higher level. Stated more simply, lower order objectives serve as stepping stones to the attainment for higher levels of achievement. Taxonomies have been developed for each domain. Although these taxonomies are often described with reference to education in the school setting, they offer guidelines for professionals in all fields who work with people to enhance learning and promote human development. The cognitive domain is concerned with the acquisition of knowledge and the development of intellectual skills. Bloom and his colleagues originally developed a taxonomy of education objectives for this domain in the 1950s, which was not revised until 2001 by Anderson and Krathwohl. These objectives reflect an increase in complexity at each level of development. Remembering facts is the objective, and from this grows an understanding and application of concepts, critical analysis, evaluation, and creating. Development of knowledge and understanding is an important objective for physical education, exercise science, and sport programs in all settings. Our programs are concerned with educating individuals with many dimensions of human movement, including the knowledge within our discipline. So with this, physical education being the sole area of the curriculum that teaches students about human movement and explores its many dimensions. Through the physical education program, individuals can gain a greater understanding of the various organ systems of the body, how they function, and how they can best be maintained. The relationship between exercise and physical activity, disease, and health is an important one for students to comprehend. Students who apply this knowledge to their own lives and can enhance their health and reduce their chances for disease, enabling them to lead happier and more productive lives. In other settings, such as wellness clinics, in hospitals, or in worksite health promotion programs, professionals help young adults learn how to incorporate physical activity into their daily lives so they can lead longer, healthier lives. Many factors influence individuals' learning, feelings, and including their feelings about themselves, the learning experience, and the subject. Recognizing this, Krathwohl and his associates developed the taxonomy for the affective domain. This taxonomy reflects the development of values, appreciations, attitudes, and character. As individuals progress through the levels within this domain, they move from a concern about themselves to a value structure that embraces concern for others. At the highest level, their internalized value structure directly influences their choices and actions. Affective domain also encompasses social and emotional development. Quality physical education, exercise science, and sport programs conducted by qualified leaders can enrich development in the affective domain. These desired outcomes should not be left to chance, but actively sought through carefully planned approaches designed to promote growth in this area. All people have certain social basic needs. These include feelings of belonging and recognition, self-respect, and love. Fulfillment of these needs contributes to social development. Physical education, exercise science, and sport programs can help participants meet some of these needs. For example, elderly participants who join an exercise program typically benefit, but not only from physically, but socially deriving pleasure from meeting with their group regularly and forming new friendships. Such interactions help to diminish the feelings of isolation experienced by many elderly who live alone. Social development is further encouraged by opportunities to interact with program participants. For example, in school physical education programs, students have more opportunities to interact with one another and work together than in any other area of the educational curriculum. Interscholastic sport programs have long extolled their value in promoting learning that teaches athletes how to work together as part of a team, to compete fairly and accept responsibility and respect the rights of others. The taxonomy of objectives in the psychomotor domain shows a progression of development that provides the foundation for programs of physical activities. The lower order objectives focus on the acquisition of basic movements and perceptual abilities. The higher order objectives emphasize the development of fitness and highly skilled movements, as well as increased in creativity in the use of these movements. Development of fitness is also included within this domain. Corbin presents a taxonomy that moves in progression from exercising to achieving fitness and then to establishing personal exercise habits. The higher order objectives focus on learning how to evaluate one's own fitness and resolve fitness problems. The psychomotor domain is the main focus of our field. The psychomotor development of the individual is a primary contribution to the educational curriculum and exercise and sport programs. Psychomotor development is concerned with two primary objectives: motor skill development and physical fitness development. The development of motor skills is sometimes referred to as the development of neuromuscular or psychomotor skills because effective movement depends on the harmonious working together of the muscular and nervous system. The acquisition and refinement of motor skills is essential for everyday activities, such as posture and lifting, and for movement in a variety of physical activities such as dance, sports, aquatics, and outdoor pursuits are important outcomes of motor skill development. The development of motor skills focuses on helping individuals learn how to move effectively to accomplish specific goals efficiently. That is, with as little energy expenditure as possible. Motor skill development is a sequential process that occurs throughout one's lifespan. Infants possess reflexive involuntary movements that are replaced with voluntary movements as they mature. Fundamental movements such as running and throwing begin to develop in early childhood around the time the child can walk independently. These fundamental motor skills progress through various stages such as imitation and manipulation, leading to the mature form of the skill. As children progress through these stages, they exhibit a greater degree of competency in their movements. The movement becomes more precise and fewer errors occur. Quality school-based physical education programs can contribute significantly to the education of the individual and enhance learning and development in all three domains of cognitive, affective, and psychomotor. For professionals working in settings outside the school, an understanding of the behavioral domains, the taxonomies and objectives helps them to more effectively structure their programs to achieve desired outcomes. Assessment is a critical component of quality physical education. Assessment should be a dynamic, ongoing process integrated into programs and viewed as an essential, crucial element of any program. be it conducted in a school or non-school setting. The development of quality physical education, exercise science, and sport programs requires establishing clear goals, assessing participants' needs, setting specific objectives, planning their learning experiences, and providing effective instruction and evaluating the outcomes. Assessment can yield important information about a participant's progress, your program quality, instructional practices, and the effectiveness of professionals. Evaluation promotes accountability. Participants are accountable for their performance, and professionals are accountable for participants' achievements. Today, more than ever, demonstrating the worth and value of our programs is critical. Assessment is central to this purpose because it provides meaningful information about learning and achievement related to goals, objectives, and outcomes in the affective, cognitive, and psychomotor domains. Assessment is a continual endeavor, one that is essential to the learning process. Assessment is the process of gathering information to learn what participants know and are able to do in order to determine their progress toward achievement of goals and objectives. Measurement and evaluation are closely related processes. Measurement is the process of gathering information or collecting data, whereas evaluation is the process of interpreting the information or data. Assessment is more encompassing in its scope, whereas evaluation includes data collection, interpretation, and decision making. Assessment encompasses a variety of measurement, evaluation, and assessment techniques that have as their primary purpose our gathering and interpretation of information. That information is used to make decisions that will enhance the outcomes achieved and the experiences of participants in physical education programs. The main purpose of assessment includes diagnosis, placement, monitoring of progress, determination of achievement, motivation, as well as program improvement and evaluation of the instructor effectiveness as well. So diagnosis is one of the most important uses of assessment. Diagnostic procedures can be used to identify individuals' strengths and weaknesses, their levels of abilities and developmental status in the various domains. When working with children with disability, the adapted physical activity specialist may use the test of gross motor skills, motor development 2, or TGMD2, to measure children's locomotor and object control motor development. A sports psychologist working with an intercollegiate athletic team to improve its performance uses several paper and pencil tests to find out athletes' satisfaction, their perception of team climate, their attentional styles, and leadership roles. Additional knowledge gleaned with interviews of the athletes and coaches from personal observation of the team during practice and games helps the psychologist identify factors limiting the team's achievement. Exercise and physical activity prescription uses diagnostic information to design programs to meet individual needs. A cardiac rehab specialist uses the results of an exercise test to prescribe an exercise program for a post-cardiac patient. A personal trainer reviews the various assessments of a client's fitness level and nutritional status, as well as lifestyle habits, and then designs an individualized wellness program for the client. Working with the athlete's physician, an athletic trainer plans a program of exercise to restore the full range of motion to an athlete who is recovering from a rotator cuff injury. Determination of achievement is one of the primary purposes of assessment. Physical education programs involve purposeful activity directed toward the attainment of certain goals. Have the participants achieve their stated objectives? Does the senior citizen know how to modify his walking program as he increases his level of fitness? Assessment can provide an indicator of achievement at the end of a program. When assessment is done at the beginning and at the end of the program, improvement can be seen. Incorporation of various assessment techniques throughout the program allow for tracking participants' progress. It can also help in enhancing the motivation of participants and encouraging them to improve further. Learning experiences that provide for frequent self-testing and incremental successes allow 6th grade students to see that their volleyball skills are improving and that hard work yields results. An athlete is motivated to continue to rehab her knee when she sees that the weight that she can lift with the injured leg increases each week. An employee in a corporate fitness program is motivated to continue to exercise each day at 6 a.m. when he sees a decrease in his time to complete a mile and perceives himself as having more energy to meet the demands of the day. It is motivating to professionals when they see the time and effort they've invested in their programs have benefited the program's participants. Another purpose of assessment is program evaluation. Assessment can provide evidence of the effectiveness of the program. Corporate fitness directors can document the progress and concomitant health gains made by employees enrolled in the program. This lets the employer know where the program is beneficial to the employees and whether the investment in the program has yielded cost savings. This more global approach can also be used to improve the program. From this perspective, items such as program content, progression of instructional experiences, administration and organization, your facilities and equipment, and time allocation are addressed as part of the overall program assessment. This enables professionals to make improvements in their programs to heighten their effectiveness. Professionals who care deeply about their professional endeavors reflect upon all information gathered via the assessment process to improve their own effectiveness. They might ask, are there any changes that I can make in my presentation? Is the order of the instructional tasks the best sequence to enhance participants' developments? And do I need to give participants more guidance? These and other questions can help professionals enhance their program effectiveness and influence the outcomes of the participants in their programs. There are different avenues professionals can use to assess the outcomes achieved by participants in their programs. The ability of assessment procedures to enhance learning by connecting assessment to instruction and to enrich the experience of program participants makes it critical that assessment is included as an integral part of physical education programs. Technology is increasingly influencing the assessment processes. Computers and smartphones help in maintaining records of test results or keeping a log of participants' involvement in the program. One example of computerized record keeping is the Cooper Institute's FitnessGram that you probably did as a kid, in which they are used by schools throughout the nation to provide students and their parents with information about the student's fitness profile. The program measures the health-related components of fitness of cardiorespiratory endurance, muscular strength and endurance, flexibility, and body composition, and provides a computerized report on the fitness status of each student. The profile is constructed for the individual's performance on the test items, and when necessary, exercise recommendations are made based on test performance of the individual. FitnessGrams also makes it easy for teachers, parents, and students to compare the performance on the current test to performance on previous tests, thus making it easier to know where improvements have been made and identifies fitness areas that require attention. The FitnessGram helps teachers keep track of their students' fitness levels and determine whether the stated program objectives are being achieved. Sport philosophy emerged as a specialized area of study in the mid-1960s and 70s as this area grew. Emphasis shifted from philosophical issues associated with physical education in schools to the study of sport. Sport philosophers use logic and critical reasoning to study the meaning of physical activity and the mind-body relationship as the discipline matured. The philosophical study of physical activity broadened. Each professional should develop his or her own philosophy. One's philosophy influences the goals and objectives or outcomes sought from one's programs and the methods by which these goals and objectives are attained. Goals are broad statements of aims that reflect desired achievements, whereas objectives are more specific statements of outcomes that build progressively to the achievement of the goals. The objectives of physical education, exercise, science, and sport encompass fitness development, skill development, knowledge, and affective development. Human behavior is often described with reference to three domains: the cognitive, affective, and psychomotor domains. Taxonomies organize the objectives associated with each domain into hierarchies. These taxonomies guide professionals in designing programs to meet the needs of their participants. Physical education, exercise science, and sport programs contribute in many ways to learning in these three domains. Assessment of learning is critical in each of these different areas. It is a continual process that serves many purposes. which includes diagnosis, prescription, classification, determination of achievement, documentation of progress, enhancement of motivation, program improvement, and professional development. There are many types of assessment methods for professionals to utilize. Technology is increasingly influencing that assessment process. Computers have been used for record keeping, regulation of testing equipment, and data analysis. Professionals in all settings have found technology to be of great value in their endeavors. We actually were just talking about all of this that's gone on with the coronavirus and having to teach remotely, and how that can change our curriculum, and that we need to incorporate that into our curriculum when teaching physical educators and exercise science. You're seeing a lot of it now where coaches are putting together programs and putting them up on YouTube and for their athletes so that they can continue to work out and develop. So I hope that you are working on your philosophy and developing that philosophy. Again, it's going to change, and that's normal. That's a process. It's a process. It's a journey as we mature. But I hope that you are working on that, and I look forward to seeing those soon. All right, you guys, have a great day. I'll talk with you soon.